Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with another Pittsburgh Steelers season in review. Had a poll a couple days ago on my YouTube channel. If you missed it, you can check it out on the community tab and look for new polls in the future asking which player on the defensive side of the football we should profile next for the good, bad, and season player review. You guys picked Devin Bush, and so here is the report on Devin Bush for 2020, looking at the good and bad of his injury shortened season. Looking at the stats first for Devin Bush in just 5 games due to that torn ACL he suffered against Cleveland in week 6. Devin Bush had 26 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 1 sack, no tackles for a loss. He was playing 100% of the snaps prior to his injury. All right, let's start with the good of Devin Bush in 2020. This is my favorite rep of Devin Bush in 2020, and although he was billed as this ultra athletic potential cover linebacker coming out of Michigan, he did not do that well in coverage as a rookie in 2019. So I think when you saw him take his biggest strides were in his coverage, and this is my favorite rep of his from last year. He's covering Darren Fells down the seam here in Week 3 against Houston, and does a great job of matching him vertically, timing his jump, watching the tight end where his eyes, his hands are. That'll tell you when and where the football's coming and is able to break it up, competes well at the catch point, and saves the touchdown, prevents a touchdown. So a really good rep here overall. He would have not made this play last year. I'll have a clip in a second that shows a very similar situation in the red zone last year where he struggled, gave up a touchdown, but just starts with the recognition of the play. So you're reading your key, you're getting your pass key with the hi hat read of the offensive line, and then he's going to work to number 3 here, the tight end, and get vertical, match him, and it's a little hard to tell here with the all 22 view, but does a great job there to time his jump. Obviously, Fells is a big tight end. He's like 6'7". Bush is not. He's 5'11", and so he's got to play big here in the red zone. Does a great job here to contest this throw and force the incompletion. Again, one last look at it, and we'll look at the last year's example to compare and contrast. This came in week 2 of 2019, so obviously very early in a Devin Bush's career. And here, just like the last example, he's going to be asked to cover the tight end. This is Will Disley of Seattle vertically down the seam. And he does not do a good enough job here. He's a little bit slow reacting. And I think it's a little hard to tell, but I think he wants to kind of bump and try to reroute and initiate contact on Disley, and he can't. And it slows him up here a little bit. He's just not playing fast enough, trying to get hands on him. Ends up trailing on this one. It is a good throw by Russell Wilson, but Bush is unable to contest that and allows the touchdown. And he just wasn't as strong in man coverage last year as he was in 2020, just not playing as fast, not playing as in phase, not able to compete at the catch point. So what I'll try to do here, and we'll see how good my editing skills are, is I'll have a side by side, contrast of the week 2 play from last season and the week 3 play from 2020, and you can just see the improvement about Bush carrying these tight ends vertically down the seam, a big step forward in his sophomore season. 2 more clips of Devin Bush in coverage. Both of them come in week 1 against the New York Giants. Here, Bush is going to be in zone coverage, and context is always important to start. Down in distance, this is 3rd and 8 here in the first quarter, and Bush is going to be dropping into zone coverage and does a great job here to prevent the first down on this throw to the receiver on this little crosser route over the middle. So run this thing through. And what I like here from Devin Bush is just finishing the play, not allowing the first down. Receiver's going to sit down in zone coverage, and he's right near the sticks, but Bush with a really strong, firm, powerful tackle holds the receiver to only a gain of 7, as opposed to getting the first down. So obviously giving up the catch, and the old Dick LeBeau philosophy is to tackle the catch. Taking a look at it from the end zone view, and just again, we're talking about making the tackle, zone coverage, tackling the catch, wrapping up, not allowing any sort of yak after the catch, because if you do, it would have been a first down. And here, Devin Bush with a nice, powerful wrap and roll tackle makes a stop, and the Steelers, I believe, get off the field. I don't know if the Giants went for it on 4th down, but it is a 3rd down stop nonetheless. And finally, looking at Devin Bush in man coverage again against the Giants. Here, Saquon Barkley is going to be running a wheel route, and Bush does a great job here to bump him legally within that kind of 5-yard chuck zone and kind of trips the whole timing of the play. And Daniel Jones's throw falls harmlessly incomplete down the right sideline. So just a good job here to recognize it, to match it. A little bit of a bump here. Maybe Barkley was trying to convert this one and break the route off because Bush had covered it so well, and that's one reason why the ball was so far and obviously incomplete. But either way, just a good job here to recognize it, cover it, and force the incompletion. So a good rep here from Devin Bush. All right, let's look at Devin Bush against the run. And I think he's also made improvements there from year one to year two, which is no surprise. Most players do. And so this is against Denver in week two. And this is just kind of using that athleticism and the chase and the effort here to defeat the backside block and then chase this run from behind and tackle Melvin Gordon for a 1 yard gain. Here, the tackle trying to come off, I guess, the combo here and get to Devin Bush, but he's able to kind of get skinny, duck that, and dip that inside shoulder, defeat the block, and then just go ahead, rally, chase it from behind. And as the front side does a good job to slow Melvin Gordon up and force him to not be able to hit the hole with authority and kind of try to cut back. Bush is there to clean things up. So really nice job here. It's actually, I believe, a run stunt by Tyson Alualu and Cam Hayward, which was really effective early in the season, or actually Stephon Tuitt and Alualu here on this run stunt. The Steelers had a lot of this against two back sets, especially early in the season, and so that's able to force Gordon to have to cut this one back, and then Bush is there to clean it up. So good job on the front side, good job on the back side, really strong team run defense. For Devin Bush on this play, it's all about diagnosing and processing. And when that is combined with a great athlete, you get some really stellar play. And on this example, you're going to see the backside tackle pull, and Bush does a great job here to read, follow that, get behind the puller, and then be able to scrape over the top here to the left guard as he tries to climb to the second level. So Bush is keying the tackle. He sees him pull around, so he's going to follow that immediately. Feet aren't in the ground. He's recognizing that right away. If he didn't, the left guard would have been able to climb to him, but Bush is able to scrape over the top, square his shoulders, fill the gap here. You see Williams taking on the puller from the outside to force this one back to the inside to Devin Bush and his help. And a good job here to fill that hole and make the tackle basically at the line of scrimmage. So it all starts with the key and the recognition. I wonder with the Bush taking this step inside if he had some sort of inkling of what direction the run was going to go. Maybe, maybe not. But as soon as he sees this backside tackle pull on this start scheme, he's able to read it and then explode with that athleticism he has, scrape over the top. The guard can't reach to him, and then fill the gap, make the tackle. Good rep here all around. One last look at it, and we will move on to the next play. One issue Devin Bush had as a rookie, and it's an issue that some of these undersized athletic linebackers have coming out of colleges, is they want to try to go around every single block because they could get away with that in college. Ryan Shazier had the same issue his rookie year, and he really became a great player once he learned to take on blocks a lot better as opposed to trying to duck around every single one of them, which inevitably caused him to lose his gap more often than not. And Devin Bush does a good job here of securing his gap and taking on the block. This is the center of the Browns, J.C. Treader in week six. Unfortunately, the game that Devin Bush tore his ACL, but just a great job here to strike, leverage, take on the block, be able to clog this hole. And although Bush technically somehow got credit for the tackle on this play, he didn't actually make the tackle, but he's taking on the block. So the running back doesn't have a hole. He's slowed up, and then someone else, in this case, Cam Hayward, who's just bullying Jedrick Wills. Welcome to the NFL, Rook. He's able to make the tackle really instead. So great job here from Devin Bush taking on the block. We're not going to try to go around it, duck around it, swim. We're just going to be strong with our strike here, with our punch, initiate contact right here, be able to stand up the center, hold the point of attack, and let teammates go ahead and make the play. And so we'll try to look at it from the top down view as well. Bush recognizing good contact, heavy hands, hold the point of attack, clog things up, and it's only a 4 yard gain. So I know this is not the highlight reel worthy type play, but those are the little things that really make you a consistent three down linebacker. There's still some improvement that needs to be done here on his run defense. We'll show that here just in a second, but I do like this progress. All right, now that we've looked at the good, here is the bad of Devin Bush in 2020. The obvious issue with Devin Bush, and this was, on his scouting report coming out of Michigan, was how well could you hold up against the run overall against these big 300-pound offensive linemen you were going to see weekly in the NFL. And you do see some issues with that predictably with Devin Bush here. Right tackle Cameron Fleming's going to climb to the second level and just, this base block or combo block is able to square up Bush and then just drive back and really wash Bush out of the play and not allow him to get off the block. Only a 4 yard gain, but Barkley's running right behind his right tackle and Fleming, and Bush here just kind of gets swallowed up. And that's something that I don't really know how much you're going to fix because when you're 5'11, 230, like Devin Bush is, and you got a 300, 30 plus pound tackle coming at you, that's just mass and weight and physics of it. So it's going to be tough to do. And you do want to see Bush continue to get stronger and play with leverage and strike. All those things will be even more critical with him. but that is going to be an issue of his game, just because he's not the biggest dude on the field, and there will be times where offensive linemen are just simply able to overpower and overwhelm him in the run game. I want to look at two plays in coverage against the Broncos in week two. And this was a difficult game for the Steelers linebackers on Noah Fant, who really did well late in this game. And it's kind of weird because it's hard to blame Devin Bush for all the mistakes here, at least on this play's 20-yard touchdown by Fant, because this is a great sail concept here by the Broncos with Fant running the corner to the front pylon. And there was miscommunication on this play, as confirmed by Keith Butler. I think Mike Hilton or Terrell Edmonds were supposed to blitz here, but really to the Bush on this play is, and this is tough because I think he's going to give up this touchdown no matter really what he does, just because he's inside leverage on an outbreaking route. But you would like to see him at least play this one a bit closer, and he's late here being able to react to Fant running to the corner, and he takes kind of a poor angle, and he's in trail the entire way. And again, I can't be too critical of him, and I wasn't in my article breaking down this play after the fact, because I think he gives us up really no matter what, because it's a good throw and catch, and Fant's a good tight end, and I don't really know how much of a chance Bush really had here, but you do want to see him be able to react and at least potentially get in phase of this play, get closer. So if the ball is bad or there's pressure or whatever the case is, it's bobbled, you have a better chance to make an impact here. And just overall, arguably, just too much separation allowed here for as athletic as Devin Bush is. I mean, there's a good whatever that is, 3 yards of separation between Bush and Fant. Again, a really tough play here, a good concept that stressed the Steelers defense on this play. But I think Bush could have played this tighter, and so theoretically could have made this a more interesting play. It should come as no surprise with the Broncos down five, about 3 minutes left in the game. They went back to the same concept of running Fant on this corner route. And Devin Bush is sitting there going, okay, I know he's running the corner this time. I know the concept I just gave up the touchdown on. I'm going to try to jump this route. I know what's coming, and I'm going to try to undercut it and make the play that way, potentially pick it off. And I understand that rationale, and it's good processing and trying to learn from mistakes here. But this time, I think Bush takes the angle a little too sharp underneath. And I understand what he's trying to do here, trying to intercept this one and pick it off. But the quarterback throws it over his head, has a great throw to the sideline to Noah Fant, who makes a tremendous catch, able to get both feet in. Looked like an incompletion at first, but they did rule this a catch for, I believe, a 22-yard gain. And so I think for Bush here, he's trying to make the play, but you want to get your eyes on your target, get on that inside hip of the receiver, and then just run to that hip and stay in phase that way. Had he done that, he probably contest this one the entire way, but he doesn't because he's trying to assume that this is going to be run more shallow or I can pick it off, whatever the case is. And he allows that separation at the top of the route, and with a good throw from Jeff Driscoll, who's replacing Drew Lock in this game, he's able to make the throw and cash, and it's a big 22-yard gain. So again, am I going to be overly critical of Bush for this play? No, because these are tough routes to defend. But I think just working on consistency on angles and where this route was supposed to break at, and just trying to improve on overall understanding, route combinations and angles and things like that, just staying in phase are some areas where there's still some room for improvement. So overall, my scouting report on Devin Bush, starting with the good. Obviously, he's a good athlete, a great athlete, really fluid in space and is playing to that. He's able to process things quicker. I think his diagnosing, his read react have obviously improved from year number one. That allows you to just naturally play to your timed and physical speed. I am seeing Bush do a better job taking on blocks in the run game, improving his hand placement, his leverage, not trying to duck around blocks as often, which is encouraging to see. His man coverage has improved just overall in coverage. I think he's much better in year number two than where he was in year number one, staying in phase overall, carrying routes down the seam, improving at the catch point. Again, still work to do, as evident by those clips against Denver, but you're definitely seeing progress there. And then, maybe most importantly, he's become a three-down player, 100% snap kind of a guy, wearing the green dot, being a good communicator, still obviously getting help from guys like Vince Williams and other veterans of this defense. But that was, to me, the biggest thing he had to take on in year number two was going from a part-time player, not being the signal caller, not wearing the green dot, to being an all situations guy. And that's talking about just mental toughness and preparation and film study, being a leader, developing into that role, all eyes on you, having great conditioning, being available for, being the same guy at the start of the game as you are at the end of the game. And I think Bush checked all those boxes. And so to me, that was a really encouraging sign, maybe the most encouraging sign of a sophomore season. For the negatives, I didn't see a lot of it. Obviously, his tape was fairly limited, under 300 snaps before that torn ACL. But a couple of things we did note in this video, maybe I didn't even touch on this too much in the video itself, but I do want to see a more downhill attitude in the run game. There still is a tendency to not be as aggressive, filling gaps and filling the run alleys and things like that. And I do want to see him improve there. a little bit. And I know that's not always going to be his game. He's not going to play the run, say, the way that Vince Williams will, because they're just different stylistically, different strengths and weaknesses. But there's still probably some improvement there. He can obviously be overpowered and stuck on some of these base blocks by bigger tackles, as shown in the one clip in our video. And that's probably never going to change that drastically throughout the rest of his career. And then just in coverage, just still working on angles and space and understanding where routes break and all things that'll come with time. So that is my scouting report on Devin Bush, hoping for a speedy recovery. Should be good to go for week one this year. At least that's the hope and expectation. We'll, of course, monitor that progress and news on his rehab, but hope to see Devin Bush on the field for week one of 2021. All right, guys, that's going to be my final wrap up report on linebacker Devin Bush. Let me know what player we should preview or review, I should say, in the next video. That'll be an offensive player. We're going to alternate between offense and defense. So I'll probably put up a poll sometime after this video comes out, but let me know your suggestions in the comments and I can take some popular names and put them in a poll on the community tab. And if you guys answer them to choose the next player to review of their 2020 season, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.